Hey guys, Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. I am the owner and managing editor of the Maxfield Report, and here is our market recap for the week ending July the 19th. Week started off pretty much as expected. Offer list of Packers weren't nearly as populated as the past few weeks. A lot of the Packers, I should say most of the Packers, were attempting to convey a very firm tone to the market. They were asking no worse than steady prices. Many of them raised asking prices anywhere from $1 to $2. That wasn't out of the realm of expectations of most people. As far as interest last week, it just didn't appear to be as many bids out there as there had been in the last couple, 3 weeks. Of course, people who were trying to bid prices lower than the last traded levels. Packers were adamantly refusing to counter those bids. Bidding levels that were coming in slightly lower than their asking prices were being countered at full ask. And at the end of the day, popular opinion of the trade is there wasn't nearly as many hides exchanging hands last week. They did trade at the asking price of Packers, but it just seemed like the air was starting to get a little bit thin and just not as much business out there. As far as cow hides, offer list pretty much unchanged with the past few weeks. Offer prices were steady with the last few weeks. Attempts to buy early in the week at lower levels. It appears that some of the producers ended up actually relenting to some of the lower prices. A lot of chatter about maybe some issues getting sales recognized by some other people at levels way higher than current trading levels, and that's why it forced these guys to take a little bit less money. So overall, the number of hides exchanging hands, I think it was okay. I don't know if anybody who is talking about saying that there was a week's worth of production sold. As far as the harvest last week, that checks in at 651,000. That compares to 655 the week before and 635 a year ago. Again, we're continuing to see numbers higher than a year ago. We've been talking about this the entire year, that we would see numbers up somewhere between 1.5%, maybe as high as 2% by the time the year gets over. And right now we're 1.3% higher than last year on a year-to-date basis. So I look for those larger numbers to continue. Packers are making lots of money, and when Packers can make money, they're going to continue to kill animals as long as they're standing. And there's plenty of animals standing. As far as the export report last week, really kind of disappointing. Whole cattle hide sales for wet salted hides, call it 375,000 to use round numbers. Shipments miserable at 325,000. Net sales of wet blue at 125,000. Shipments miserable at 100,000. Here again, we have sales falling below the harvest. We have shipments that have been lagging the harvest for the last going on almost 4 months now. We've been talking about this. We're somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1.3 million, almost 1.4 million behind the harvest. Not sure what the heck's going on. If there's some monkeying around with the numbers or what, but it just seems like there's not enough hides exiting these warehouses with the temperatures as hot as they are outside. Who wants to hold hides right now? That's only going to cause a problem. Going to go around the world real quick. Reports out of Europe claim really no change to the market there. Producers continue to try to hold prices as steady as they can. Abattoirs reluctant to take lower money, although they probably secretly understand they need to in order to keep product moving. Bull hides are doing okay, nothing great. They're able to trade close to their last traded levels, if not just a touch lower. Cow hides remain the problem. Not enough interest, lots of unsold hides. You've got vacations that are now started in Europe. More people going as this week progresses. It's just a difficult situation, and those selling hides are really kind of struggling. Down in Brazil, no change there. Lots of wet blue for sale. The only blue that can bring any kind of a return to the tanner is TR1s, as TR2s and lowers are actually selling at levels that don't even make it worth the time to put the chemicals into the hide. Lots of talk about hides being discarded in Brazil because they just can't get the levels that they need to. Recent trading levels on TR1, depending on how many you're buying and when you can take them, probably somewhere between 40 to 45 cents. Fresh hides trading somewhere around the neighborhood of about a 60 to 70 reais, which is about, time you do a calculation, about 20 cents a kilo on fresh. In Australia, no change there. Talk that some of the better quality hides are able to continue to move. Lower grades, difficult to sell. Harvest numbers are starting to show signs, I should say, of starting to slow, which is normal for this time of year. And with the way the hide market is, there's a lot of people selling hides that could probably use a little fewer hides coming at them. So overall, market in the States remains firm. I still think things are a little toppy. I'm not sure there's enough hide selling. This week, I don't look for any change in what the mentality of the packers are in the States. I think they're going to continue to try to force this market higher. I question if there's enough steam behind this thing to move it any higher than where it is. And in fact, in my opinion, things just look a little bit toppy here in the States. So that's it for now. Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. Check out my website, www.themaxfieldreport.com. I offer free 14-day trials. Check it out. And until next week, we'll talk to you then. Thanks.